Hey everybody, Jason here. Today we're going to do a review on my team associate B5M factory Lite. Now normally what I do is I take you guys right through an unboxing, but I'm going to try and shorten this version of this review up a little bit. So first let me just tell you how this whole review came about. A while back I was doing a review, an update video for the B44.3, and after I did, Team Associated sent me an email and they said, hey look, we've got some new products coming out. If you decide you want to do some more reviews, let us know. And that kind of left on the back burner. Well, then a couple of weeks ago, my buddy Scott that owns SDRC down in San Diego invited me to go up to Chico, to the Outback, to the Jake Concepts Nationals up there. And we thought it'd be a good time. And we were kind of talking about what classes to run. And of course, Scott and I, we're in our 30s. We're not going to compete with Ryan Mayfield and Dustin Evans and all the super fast guys. So we said, why don't we run like 17.5? Well, I thought that was a great idea, but I didn't have a kit. So I got in touch with Associated and I said, hey, look, I'm going up there. If you guys want me to do a review, I'll do the review. I'll take the kit with me. I'll run it up there. And you know what? Some of the big races, I'll run it. If you're interested, I'm interested. And they said, absolutely. They sent the kit, and that's where we're at today. So this is my current car. Instead of doing an unboxing, let me just take a few minutes. We'll head over to my workbench. I'll go through the car. I'll go through what's in my car and what makes this car a little bit different and a little bit more updated than the original B5M. And then we'll get on with the rest of the review. And I promise it won't be that long. All right, let's go. Okay, so this is my Team Associated B5M Lite. Let's just go ahead and go through it real quick. You can see that it's got Jake Concepts dirt webs on the front and chain links on the rear, which is what I ran when I club raced the car in the video you'll see later. But let's go ahead and pull this wheel off. Actually, we'll pull both of the wheels off, and we'll pull the body off real quick. This is a Jake Concepts finisher body. I'm a big fan of the finisher stuff, which is why I run it. So you'll see, I guess let's just talk about some of the features. You can see that the car comes with titanium turnbuckles, aluminum front axles, aluminum servo mounts, aluminum rear hexes. It comes with white springs. Now, the one thing on this car that the car didn't come with are these little blue shock mounts. These shock mounts that you see, those are actually aftermarket pieces, and I bought those specifically because I wanted it to be a little bit quicker and a little bit easier to change shock positions. So that's why I chose them. That's really the only reason I chose them. Now this is a Reedy servo, and this is the 410R black box. This is a Reedy 602 shorty battery, and then a Reedy 17.5 motor. The car is geared 3069 right now, and the timing is at about 45 or 46 degrees. Basically, I turn it all the way up, and then I back it down just a little bit. But I thought I would just take a few seconds and just kind of give you a close-up of the car so that you guys can see. It's really nice that these turnbuckles are really loose. I mean, I don't know if you can see how loose that is in the video, but all of the turnbuckles are that way. They're all really loose. See, I don't know how well the video will pick all this up, but let's see here. And so that's really good. The steering ones are also really loose. I actually left the little O-ring. I know that a lot of guys don't leave the little O-ring down here on the steering rack, but I do. One other thing you'll notice on this specific car is that this actually comes with flat arms in the front with obviously the matching shock tower, and it actually comes with B5 rear motor rear arms. Basically what Associated's done is they've taken really the best of everything they've learned and they've put it into one car. And that's why I think this car is going to be so successful. I think you're going to see these cars all over, and I think you're going to see them succeeding. And I really think you're going to see them take over at tracks that have a really big following in stock racing. There's just there's just so much that comes with the car. I mean, it has these factory bearings that have the blue seal on one side, and they actually have the metal shield on the other side. And so there's just a lot of little things like that that make this car a really good bang for the buck. One other update, right here you'll see that there's a nut on the actual backside of the hub. When I built my first B5, I don't think that nut was actually there. I think it was just a ball stud that threaded into the aluminum insert, but people would have problems ripping those out. So now you actually put the ball stud in through the plastic insert, into the aluminum insert, into the nut. So I definitely think durability will be increased back here on this rear hub. Okay, so now you can see that this car has a lot of little goodies that kind of come in the box. And considering the fact that the original car was $259 and this car is $279, you just get a ton more car for the $20 difference in price tag. I mean, titanium turnbuckles, aluminum hexes, lightweight chassis, 3-gear transmission, the aluminum rear, ball stud mount. There's just quite a bit of stuff in the box, which I think it would be hard pressed for anybody to argue against the fact that there isn't a big name buggy out there, TLR, Kyosho, or any other brand that gives you more in the box for the money. So I think as far as like value is concerned, this is the best bang for the buck kit that's out there at the moment. Who knows what will be out there tomorrow, but at this point in time, you're not going to get more buggy for your money than you will with the B5M Lite. Now, normally I break these reviews up into like segments and sections, but it just tends to take a little bit more time, especially when I break down and start editing them. So I just want to talk to you guys about the kit. You know, basically I got the kit, I unboxed it, I shared some pictures on Facebook, and I actually shared like a little video showing that the turnbuckles were loose, and one of the guys was like, the conspiracy theorist in me thinks that they packed that kit for you. And because there have been other people that have actually got turnbuckles that were still a little bit snug. Now, I'm not saying Associated couldn't have gone into their warehouse and customized a kit, but I don't really think that's the way it works. The way I understand it, these kits are packaged up onto a ship and shipped from overseas, and they're just sealed up and ready to go. So I think when Associated decided to send us one, they sent someone down to the warehouse, the guy grabbed it off the shelf, threw it in a box, and mailed it to me. So if you do end up having one of these cars that has tight ball cups, I want you to know that number one, you don't want to run it that way. You really want to get in touch with those guys, because when I had my original B5M, I liked the car and the build actually went pretty good, but it definitely had some weird, like kind of inconsistent handling characteristics on the track. It just kind of felt like it was stuck in the turn a lot of times. I kind of just assumed it was like new geometry because I was so used to running like a Centro or a B4. But now that I've run this car and a couple of other friends' B5Ms, I don't think that's the case at all. I think that if you either have a B5 or T5M, or you had one and it felt like it handled really weird, if your turnbuckles were tight, I'm pretty sure that's it. Because this car doesn't act anything like my original B5M. So anyways, trying not to rant too much, but just if your ball cups are tight, you want to get in touch with those guys and get it fixed. This car actually built really well, didn't have any missing parts or anything like that. Ball cups snapped on. I could actually snap these on by hand, which is nice. You didn't have to use like pliers or anything like that. So the build was good. I actually got a chance to club race it, and I club raced it because I wanted to get some extra wheel time in. I actually club raced it in mod and in stock, and I happened to win both. Now, I'll tell you right now, I wasn't the fastest car in either class. In mod, I was actually almost the slowest car on lap times, but I was just driving clean and consistent. And in stock, I was one of the quicker cars, but not the fastest car, but same story, just drove it clean and consistent. The car jumped and landed really well, and of course, any car that's a little bit lighter in weight is going to land a little bit better. This car was built with 2-hole by 1.6 pistons front and rear, and I ended up with 32 weight shock wheel in the front and 30 weight in the rear. It has white springs. It actually cornered really good. You know, I was using dirt webs in the front and chain links in the back, and I probably should have ran dirt webs on front and back. The chain links were good, but they really aren't broken in and really race ready. So the car, the one nice thing is that it was really consistent from corner to corner, but some corners it was consistently hooked up and some corners it was consistently loose. And there are some polished spots on the track, but either way, I wish I would have chose a little bit different rear tire for the time being. But I liked the car. The car jumped good, it landed good, it cornered well, and it was consistent. And I really don't have any complaints about it. There's no question that when I look at this car, what I really see when I look at this car is I see a learning curve that's kind of going on at Associated. You know, the B4.2, which will probably go down as the most winning or most successful two-wheel drive buggy in history, at least that would be my guess. It took a decade to kind of fulfill its legacy, right? It came out in 2003 and it was finally retired when this car was released just a couple years ago, a year and a half ago or so. But this car, obviously now with the flat arms and the shock tower to match, the B5 rear arms that have a little bit different sweep to them, you know, Associated has clearly gone out of their way to try and give us more value with the aluminum hubs, the titanium turnbuckles, and the 3-gear transmission. The 3-gear transmission is like another point of kind of conversation that I've already heard from a lot of people. Basically what happens is the motor spins in an opposite direction in a 3-gear transmission as it does in a 4-gear transmission. So let me just explain to you what's happening. Normally in a 4-gear transmission, the whole reason the 4-gear transmission was created was to get the car to actually pitch front to back more. When you hit the throttle, the motor would torque and kind of transfer weight back, and when you hit the brake, the car would kind of torque and transfer weight forward. So On lower bite surfaces like outdoor, I think that probably is actually a benefit. Cody Newmandahl, I actually just talked to him today, and he's kind of convinced that 3-gear can be made to work anywhere, and he's probably right? He's the engineer and designer, not me. Not to mention he's a world-level driver. You know, the guy just finished second at the world's warm-up in Japan over there at Yatabe Arena. But I think that if you buy this car and you do struggle and you just can't, if you buy this car for mod and you can't get it hooked up, then spend a couple bucks, get the 4-gear transmission case and an extra top shaft and idler, and run it in 4-gear, and that'll probably solve your issue. But the nice thing about the 3-gear is that, number one, the car won't pitch as aggressively, and it's going to be a little bit more stable under braking because it's not going to want to throw weight forward. And so every setup change, every little tuning adjustment, it's all a little bit of give and take, right? With the 3-gear, you get less static weight, less rotating weight, less friction, less drag inside the driveline, but you don't get that kind of artificial weight transfer when you're getting out of power on the corner. So one of the things I noticed as I club raced the car was that if you kept the car rolling around the corner, it was really good. It was really planted. It was very smooth. But if you started trying to overly like hustle the car or brake the car while you were turning, like if that car started to slide even just a little bit and then you tried to roll back into the throttle, it didn't hook back up as aggressively. Now, I've already mentioned the tire thing, and I think tires definitely would have helped. But I do think that you're going to find that the driving characteristics of a 3-gear are just a little bit different than they are with a 4-gear car. I would argue that this is the most durable two-wheel drive buggy on the market. As a matter of fact, when I was running this car in mod, I accidentally clipped the pipe and spun the car out on the straightaway and was hit head-on by a TLR 22 2.0. I mean, my buddy Michael just blasted me. I thought for sure we were both broke. He actually spun me out. He popped the ball cup, which the marshal put on in like 2 seconds. Like literally by the time I was taken off, the marshal threw his car back down. He didn't really even lose any time. But I would say that the durability is absolutely amazing in this car, and which is a nice step up. You know, it's no fun going out with any car when you have to worry about finishing a race. That should never even cross your mind. When you drive into a chicane and you think, "Ooh, I better lift," you're slowing down. And we're racing. You don't want to be slowing down when you're racing. So having a car that's kind of like a tank, I definitely think makes for a better racing experience, and it obviously allows you to drive a little bit more confidently. So durability is very good. The aftermarket for this car, I don't even have to tell you. I mean, Proline makes bodies, Jay Concepts makes bodies. There's titanium screw kits and aluminum rear hubs, and every type of bling that you could possibly think of is made for this buggy by all of the aftermarket manufacturers. And it's not even just the aftermarket that's really so important. Just the simple fact that you can go into probably any hobby shop here in the United States and either fix this car with parts off the wall, or heck, in a lot of these hobby shops that have tracks, you could probably almost build this car from the parts wall because Associated has really good parts distribution. Not only that, but if you're going to a big race, Associated has a lot of driver coverage, even on their 50-50 team. So if you're going to any race that's a trophy race, odds are there's someone there at that race that's sponsored by Associated, so you're likely to be able to get spare parts. Or, you know, I shouldn't put those guys in the spot like this, but let's just be honest. If they're sponsored and they have parts and can help out, they should, right? So aftermarket, durability, you know, the aftermarket for this car is good. The durability for this car is good. I thought its jumping and landing and cornering and just basically handling characteristics were good. This is the first time I really don't have any complaints. Now, let me just tell you 2 things that I bought for this car personally to just kind of improve the experience. In fact, I guess it's 3 things technically. I bought the aluminum shock mounts just because I wanted to be able to move the shocks a little bit more quickly, and I didn't like the little plastic with the nut. So that's the first item I bought. The second thing I bought were actually aluminum hubs for the rear, and I didn't actually buy those for durability. I bought the aluminum rear hubs specifically because these cars tend to be, in my opinion, roll center sensitive. I raised the inner ball studs in this car by 1 millimeter in round 2 in one of the races yesterday, and the car just became a whole different animal. So I put it back for the mains, and it was just so much better, so much more consistent. So I tend to, compared to like the Spencer Rivkin and Cody Newmandahl setup sheets, I actually like the roll centers a little bit higher. So that inner ball stud, I like it about 1 millimeter to 2 millimeters lower than they have it with the stock hubs, right? I think their setup sheets might actually use the aluminum hubs. But anyways, I bought the 3 things I bought in short are I bought the shock mounts, I bought the titanium front axles, and I bought the aluminum rear hubs. The aluminum rear hubs I bought so I could adjust the roll center. The front titanium axles I bought because I just thought, man, aluminum front axles, are those things really gonna live? Obviously I hit some stuff yesterday, including that head-on collision with Michael Greer, and they're still here. And I actually contacted Cody Newman and I said, hey, do you mind if I ask, have you guys been breaking these front aluminum hubs? And he said that they usually don't break from collisions or crashes, but they break when guys are consistently just over torquing the wheel nuts. So either way, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the titanium Lunsford front axles on this car, and that's just about it. I've considered doing pucks and some of the other pieces back here, but I'm all about going fast on a budget, and not everybody has $1,500 to throw at a roller, so why make this a car that, this thing doesn't have to be some exotic beast to go fast. I'm just gonna put the minimum amount of stuff on this car that I need to go fast and just have fun with it. So in general, I guess, what's the conclusion about the Team Associated B5M Lite? I like it. I think it's a good car. I think that I'm still gonna keep my TLR cars, the cars I run in mod, my stadium truck and all that stuff, but I'm genuinely, truly impressed with this car. And the amount of stuff that there are really two aspects to all of these kits. There's what you get in the box, the metal and plastic, and then the experience that the company provides through distribution, through their network of drivers, through setup sheets, their online kind of like culture. And I think they've got it all. I truly could see, if you're at a track that is a stock-based track, if stock is by far the biggest class at your track, this car, in my opinion, it's going to be a stock class standout. And I think that this is the type of car that could really, it's going to put serious pressure on companies like Kyosho and TLR to kind of up their game and deliver two things: cars with 3-gear transmissions for one, and two, more buggy for less money. It's just that simple. None of those other companies yet even offer a 3-gear transmission. I know that some of the Kyosho factory drivers have turned around rear motor transmissions and kind of got froggy doing some custom modifications. And I know that, of course, you could always run the TLR 22 buggy in rear motor. But if we're talking dedicated mid-motor platforms with 3-gear transmissions, this is pretty much the only option. They're pretty much the only game in town, and they're the best bargain. So that's about it. That's my opinion on the Team Associated B5M Lite. I like it. I'm not going to put a truckload of modifications on it because it comes pretty well equipped right out of the box. Did I say equipped? It comes pretty well equipped right out of the box. One thing that I know a lot of guys have already started to harp on me about is pucks. Now, I don't have any issues with MIP. In fact, I think MIP makes amazing equipment. I use their tools. I actually had a set of pucks on another vehicle a long time ago, and I do think that they help reduce driveline friction and drag, and they increase wear. But you're still talking like, what, 70, 80 bucks? And then if you want to put like a powerful modified motor in there, you're kind of limited. So for the time being, I'm not going to put pucks in the car. Maybe down the road, I'll consider it. I don't think that you need pucks to win. If you did, Spencer Rivkin wouldn't have won the stock nationals at OCRC without them. So are they a good buy? Yes. Would I bash on them? No. Do you need them? Meh, probably not. All right, so that's about it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me show you some footage of this car actually on the track. And then when I get up to Chico, I actually might even take this thing down to a JBR here in the next couple of days. I'll try to get more video footage, and if I make any changes, I'll keep you guys updated. As always, you guys know I appreciate you watching these videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
On the announcement from me, Leland blows it out. Now Riley sets his sights on Leonard. Jason's just out on a Sunday cruise all by himself, testing out that brand new B5M Lite. So Riley Clem is closing in fast on Leonard. Last time by it was 3 seconds. This time by it's 0.8 seconds. Oh, and he makes it stick on the inside. Comes in hot, still stuck. Jason out front. Clem trying to close in. Looks like Jason got by lap traffic pretty easily. Riley was hoping he got hauled up. He flipped it over on a double. He's going to drop down to 3rd place. Jason on the 19.515, the only driver on the 19-lap pace. Leonard 18.505, Clem 18.508. About a minute and a half left to go in this race. Battle for second, coming over the little double. Right on the driver's stand, right in front of me. Here they come onto the straightaway. Slim all kinds of horsepower, makes a clean pass to the inside. Leonard got flustered, rolled it over all by himself. So Slim has a pretty steady second place, holding on to it. He is 7.5 seconds back from Snyder. Let's see what kind of work he can do in 45 seconds. Snyder coming up on Prescott. So, looks like the battle is going to be between Plunkett and Edge for 4th place. Plunkett over the double now. Edge over the double. He's a few seconds back.
I just want to say thanks again for watching my videos. I appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you could either like, comment, or even better, subscribe. I post a lot of stuff on social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that. So if you want to catch up with me, I'll post this stuff up for you. And you can come on over, add me as a friend, follow me on Instagram, and you'll be able to see things that just don't make it to YouTube. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.